All right. Good Saturday afternoon. I hope you are enjoying doing what you want to do and not going deeper in God like you need to. Like you need to. And whether you know it or not, I'm really trolling you because God wants you to see that you're not as important to him as he is to you. But nevertheless, we're going to let y'all live your life. But for me, I'm still going to be out here preaching the gospel of Christ. Do-do-do, do-do, do-do, do-do-do. We're still over in, what were we in, y'all? Y'all know we was in? Yeah, I know. Galatians 1 and 15. Let me stop playing around. So we're still talking about Galatians 1 and 15. And we're still talking about the power that's in grace. And like I say, most people, when they think of grace, you just think of 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 it being some tool that when you sin, that God immediately forgives you. But when we look at it, according to Apostle Paul, according to the man who wrote the last epistles that's in this three-fourths of what we call the Bible, we got to understand his mentality, his walk, and how he comes to understanding that either we wrong or we right. Nothing separates us from God. We ourselves is the one that does the separate. So we're still on 1 and 15. And we still talking about, but when God, who set me apart from my mother's womb and called me by his grace. Now, most of us think grace shows up after we mess up. So what I'm teaching you from this mindset and through this part of grace is that grace was already prevalent before you even knew it was prevalent. So watch this. When we look at people, and I just love using Brian Carn because he the one over there keep talking about more grace, more grace. But if you hear what I'm teaching you and you understand what grace is, see, he is teaching it after the failure, after the bad decision, after the regret of when you sin. But Paul trying to tell us, and what I'm trying to relate to you through Paul's life, which means this is an actual revelation. This is an actual test. This is an actual trial that he had to come face to face with in following who God is. See, grace, for many of you, when we get to that part, you'll see what I'm saying. So many of you got to understand, if we're saved by grace through faith, how do we know we have faith if we don't fully understand grace? So thereby, we think grace just comes along. Oh God, you miss, oh God, give me the grace. Give me the grace. Give me the grace. No. What Paul was saying, He wasn't even searching for God. Ooh. So grace doesn't start and end with repentance. It's available before you even know it's there. When we read Paul's story, it doesn't even begin with you believing. Grace starts with God. He said, because when we look at 15, but when God. And see, y'all got to be careful. When you see something going on in people's lives and you tell them and you sit there and you show them, oh, God don't supposed to be doing that. I think God did. You don't know God enough to get your input about what's going on in anybody's life. Because what we had to learn from Adam and Eve that we don't learn, grace was at work in them before they even thought about it. See, God never changes. So he's showing us through Paul's life that Paul had grace before he even knew it existed. Let's run down his background. He persecuted the church, which means he was a heathen, a blasphemer. Such as some of y'all, you talk more about church people and what church people doing wrong. You persecute the very people that you think you called to save. Why they don't listen to nothing you got to say? Paul was the one that approved Stephen's execution. Paul was the one that hunted Christians down thinking he was serving God. Because he was a stout believer of the word, but he didn't have the word in his heart. That word I hid in my heart that I might not sin against thee. So I don't care who you kill. Grace still there. Because see, the key to understanding grace is two messages ago. You'll never understand grace if you don't admit that's who you are. So Paul had to look back on his life, like I do sometimes. God was never absent in me. He was just waiting on the time to use me. God didn't wait until I cleaned myself up. He used me filthy and dirty how I was. He was already working. And for many of you, before we came to Christ, and my friends used to say it in the hood because they started seeing me going to church every Sunday. And I used to hear them saying, we out there talking, man, when I get ready to live right, I'm going to pick that Bible up and I ain't going to put it down. Man, when I stop doing this, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to serve. See, we got a misconception of who God is. He don't want us clean like we finna fry some fish. He wants us to take notice that we being clean. So understanding grace didn't start on the Damascus road when Christ knocked him off his horse and he became blind. Grace started time Paul got in this world. And the reason a lot of people cannot access the grace of God, you're still holding grudges about what people done to you, jobs done to you, ex-wife, ex-husband, ex-girlfriend, ex-friend. You're holding it, sisters and brothers. I was telling my mom this morning, I said, yeah, Shan contacted me on social media. The first thing out of my mama's mouth, she went to laughing. She must want some money. I called my brother. I said, hey, Shan contacted me. Boy, she got good for a lot of money. She must want some money. I said, Mama, how much did she get from him? She said, I don't remember. She said, but it was a nice lick, and he was talking about, I just took that loss. I said, well, I accept it anyway. I said, I ain't seen it in 30 years. And see, for teaching purposes only, those that been around me, you know you ain't just finna get no money out of Brother Hubbard anyway. See, I'm looking at that stuff, what it is, Glorilla and her sister, and they mad she rich, but her mama still working at FedEx and this and that and this and that. And she mad because Glorilla won't get her money or whatever. And I don't know how much Glorilla made. And I'm looking at the girl on the interview, and she says about 10 of them. She could at least give us 2,500 apiece. Now I seen when her dad retired, she bought him a Jaguar, and the sister said the Jaguar outside, it ain't even got gas in it. Can I tell you, when you get where you going, it ain't your responsibility to take care of your family. See, everybody mad because Cardi B, she pay all her people bills and this and that. See, why would I get rich and cause you to lose your identity in me because I got the money? If I want to do anything, let it be God ordained. Let Brother Hubbard get rich. I don't care who it is. If I ain't talked to you in years, or if I talk to you in years, don't come like this. See, I'm saying that for a reason. Some of y'all finna get a little nice pocket change. And see, the reason some of you ain't gonna get what you supposed to get because you don't want to do the split. So you blocking what God really want to do because you ain't did what he told you to do. See, y'all want to wait till you get the blessing, then you want to obey God. God said, no, obey me, and you'll see why I want to bless you. Man, let Brother Hubbard get some money. I was riding down there to get me old smoothie today, and I thought the little daycare was open. And I kept looking at it. They got the van out there, the stuff out there. I said, God, if you was to bless me with some money, I was talking to myself now, me and God. I said, I'll open that daycare up and it'll be free to low income people. But I'm gonna have to make sure that you struggling. Cause see, you know how y'all black folks is. Yeah, we know how. See, I know all the guys, and I let them have free daycare while I'm paying the people that work there. Yeah, it got grass around it. I might go get the darn lawnmower and cut the grass myself, and it really ain't no might. I'm gonna do it myself anyway, cause I just like cutting grass. See, why you mad at God for wanting to change your life? Oh, okay. It's because you really don't want to change your life. Can we be honest? If you don't really want to follow God, stop listening to me. Because you do know every time you listen to me, you get judged by what you hear. Stop listening to me. Because I'm going to say something that's going to convict you. I'm going to say something for what you're going through. And you're going to hear the truth of what you got to do. Don't listen to me. Go out there and find TDJ, Jamal Bryant, what's his name? Joel Osteen. Go somewhere where you want your life to change. Because all we got over here is life-changing gospel. We ain't got nothing for nobody who want to play like they want God, but get mad at all the requirements. So what this has done, since we understand now that grace never started on Damascus Road, that grace started time the doctor slapped them on the butt or whatever they did, man. Grace is not God's response to your life. Grace is the foundation of God coming in your life. Before you even make your first mistake, grace. Before you even get mad at God, grace. Before you even knew God's name, grace. Grace is the formula for the very thing in which God exists himself. Watch this. And God said, grace, because of something in God's mind, it clicked. I can do so much better than what I see. So he began to transform, transform. So now you got to understand, nobody can just say, I got grace because it's earned, not given. See, notice Paul didn't say, God called me because I tried harder. I gave more. I taught more. I knew more. I got plenty of accolades and certificates. He said, no, let me get that messed up boy over there and let me polish up his life. See, even your very calling is not a reward for good behavior. Your calling is part of God's character. See, I hear people saying, I don't like to use titles. I don't like to. See, that's the problem. You understand grace. They never were titles. And y'all got to stop listening to people because see, that grace on the cross, when he went down there and he was laid on, it said he gave us gifts, apostles, prophets, pastors. He didn't say title, these gifts. You see how one word, and a lot of y'all, I don't like to use type, but you'll call yourself Dr. Apostle, Dr. Prophet, Dr. Teacher. That's not God's gift. That's your gift mixed with the world. That's what that is. That shows your character. That shows your low self-esteem because you think, oh, I got to let them know I'm a doctor. It was a couple of disciples. They didn't say I'm Dr. Apostle, Dr. Prophets. See, why do we want to add things to the word? See, people who do that, I know something wrong with your character in God. Because see, let's look at Paul's resume. What Paul's resume? Let me see, uh, can I pull it up? Let's pull it up. That's good. Philippians 3 and 5. Yeah, let me get that up there. I might use this NIV version because it is what came up. Come on now, do right. Click. Why you ain't clicking? Okay, you don't want to do right then. I go find somebody else. I ain't got to have you. Think you is. What it is, the amplified version? Let's look at Paul's resume. In Philippians 3, we'll start at verse 4. He says, though I might have confidence even in the flesh, if any other man thinketh to have confidence in the flesh, I yet more. See, that's that pride talk. He said, I was circumcised the 8th day. I don't know what it means, but it's something big. Of the stock of Israel, which means I belong. I belong in this thing. I'm connected to this thing. Of the tribe of Benjamin. See, he understands something. That's right, Holy Spirit. You know what's wrong with some of y'all? You do. You still connected to one of the 12 tribes. You don't even know it. Because church don't teach y'all that. See, I know I belong to the tribe of Issachar. God told me. You ain't got no relationship, so you don't know the exact grace that's really given to you. Keep going. Let's keep going though. That's good teaching now. A Hebrew of Hebrew. That means he was the head honcho. As touching the law of Pharisee, he know every word of that word. Watch this. As touching zeal, persecuting the truth. Now watch this. That's why he said having zeal, not according. So you believe in the word and you killing the people who manifest in the word. Y'all better stop talking about people. So he see y'all kill people ministry with your mouth. But see, I don't worry about you. As touching the righteousness which is in the law, that means he followed every rule of that 10 Commandments. He said, I was blameless. But watch what he said. Howbeit, what things were gained to me, these have I counted lost for Christ. But y'all come in Christ, now you want to, I got a doctorate from a from historically HBSU. My name is Dr. Prophet. I got this degree. See, you use yours to boost you up. Paul said that don't even mean nothing. Paul said that don't even mean nothing. I got a doctorate of divinity. Paul said, I count all those things dung for the knowledge of Christ. That's how I talk like I talk. Because can't nobody mess with me. Care nothing about your degree. Care nothing about your title. You worthless in my eyes. Because here a man who's in this Bible, he got more than what you ever had, and he said it ain't worth nothing when I found Christ. But when y'all found Christ, now you want to be, I'm an apostle, prophet, doctor, coach. Yeah. Y'all coaches now. I'm a prophetic coach. I'm a prophet. That's not a gift. See, Paul's resume was pointed in the wrong direction because you did everything the word said, but you didn't understand the heart that was in that word. Now watch this. And grace still called. But when it pleased God, see, you got to please pastor. You got to please overseer. You got to do your trial sermon. You got to go get you some Catholic clothes and robes. And you got to walk in there, you get to sit on the front row. And you can't even cast a Pepsi top in the trash, let alone a cold. So watch this. Number one, stop thinking you got to fix yourself to be used by God. When I was coming into Christ and trying to hear his voice, the most powerful messages I got was from my next door neighbor. Now, he was a drug addict. He did cocaine. He was an alcoholic. He did everything. His name was Melvin. And whatever I prayed at night, Melvin knew I got up every morning with that 73 Ford F100 390 modified, the 3-speed on the column. When he heard them pipes go boom, 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 he said, hey, God told me to tell you this. Or he knocked on the door. And when he get through, he said, man, you got $5, $10? Sometimes I give him 20. The crackhead had more of a relationship than the people that was in the church I was going to. See, y'all problem is, tell your problem. Because they don't believe like you do, you don't want to hear nothing they say. Because they look nasty and stinking, you don't want to believe nothing they say. Because they look like some uncircumcised heathens. Because, see, you perfect. And see, that's why some of y'all, you mad now because people won't accept your word from God because God didn't try to use people to give you one and you didn't accept it. Respect of persons is what I call. See, Grace was telling Paul, see, you got to understand, some of you sitting now, well, I'm gonna start working for God when I feel worthy. When I stop this, I'm still drinking a little bit. I'm still sleeping around a little bit. You can't clean yourself up when God want to use you. See, when you understand the grace I'm trying to tell you, it doesn't say get worthy and get grace. It said get grace while you feel unworthy. It doesn't say, okay, I'm gonna get grace and get new. He gonna get grace while you doing what you do. See, y'all think grace is dependent on perfection. If that the case, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. See, watch this. So watch this. All those people, when God was calling me, doubted me. And when I look at their ministry, even the leaders that was in ministry 40 and 50 years before me, I look at how they did that ministry. You still see them just on Facebook, on the little TV. Boy, you see Brother Hubbard on his own website, on TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitch, the done Roku and Apple TV now. And then you got those that mad. Those that mad, because they can't do it. But I'm a nobody. Have you ever seen people keep up with people that's nobody? I was sitting there this morning and I was looking at this new PA system. I said, I want that. And I thought about the old one I got in the trailer. I was set to give it away, but they don't want to listen to God. See, the stuff I got, I know God told me to get it, so I don't just give it to anybody. And I thought about my friend down in Pensacola, and I said, I'm gonna go around now. Maybe this weekend, I don't even know. And I'm gonna take the PA system, I'm gonna take all the microphones, the speakers, and I'm gonna give it to them because I see something else I want. No, it ain't tore up. I said to myself, I might even give him one of those tents in there. I said, I don't know. Now I'm thinking, what else in there that I can just give to him? Well, see, God know I like technology. And it's about 8, 9 years old, but it's in pristine condition. But I seen that I said, "Ooh, God, I want that." I just like the way it looked. See, it's February the 7th. And I know, I said, hey, if you're going to give, make sure you have it in by the 8th. Now let's look how simple that instruction is. And when we look at how simple that instruction is, we got to see, well, why I didn't do it. Why I couldn't afford to do it. Why why do I, what's the word I'm gonna use? What's the word I can use? Why I just don't care. That's what God just said. See, why procrastinate if God gave you an order, but you want God to hurry up and fix your problem? You do understand the Bible says you reap what you sow. That's his law. That's why y'all ain't got what you got. Because you want to play one red light, yellow light, green light, stop with God, but you want him to run the red light for you. So one of the main points of grace, number two, and this is what I need you to get. You put an asterisk by this one. Grace does not give you the authority to forget your past. It rewrites your past. See, a lot of y'all can't talk about your past. And that's fine because you haven't tapped into grace yet. That's fine. You ain't got enough power to talk about your past. But don't deny it. Now watch this. This one thing they don't teach y'all while they trying to teach you the prophetic. If you're a prophet title or whatever, and God uses you prophetically, every time you deny a part of your life, you lose your anointing in your life. You can't deny nothing you went through. So what Paul got to experience unknowingly, let me redeem him from killing my believers because now I want him to save my believers. The same passion that Paul used to persecute the church is the same passion he built it. Where your passion at? Your passion on screwing, getting high, getting money? The same passion. I just told you this. The same passion I was after them women went, that's the same passion I use for this gospel. That same passion y'all gossip with, that's the same passion you need for this gospel. But watch this. I'm gonna teach you something because I'm a teacher. When your video have no passion, I know it ain't from God. Around there, why you ain't doing no video? See, that's why I know she got grace. You would know about that. But if you understand me and God's relationship, you'll understand our relationship. Now, you know, brother like a little meat on his bone. But watch this. How a woman know God to know me, didn't know me and don't know God. So I said to her, you don't understand. I teach and preach with passion and prophetically. If I just come over here and say anything, they should know it ain't God. But do it. But for many of us, you miss who God is that you can't want you to be. So God does not erase your past. He retells it. He reframes it. And the way he do that, he began to tell you why you went through what you went through. See, being a whore don't disqualify you. Being a thief don't disqualify you. Killing people don't disqualify you. Where you think you're disqualified at, that's what grace shows its power more clearly. Well, my video ain't breaking up on my end. That's y'all with them cheap phones and that cheap internet. Because when I look at it, it's going strong. That's your cheap stuff. See, whatever you are ashamed of, number 3, whatever I am ashamed of, God used that for my testimony. Now, just write it down. I'll see you're not ready yet because you're still ashamed of it. So you can't come on here like Brother Hubbard go to talking sometime. I did this, I did that, and I did that, and I laugh at it. And the reason I laugh, I looked at how low down and stupid I was. I'm not laughing because of the pain or the horror or whatever I have inflicted on people. I just look at how dumb I was. See, you got to understand. Grace never says that didn't happen. What Grace saying, that ain't the end. Now watch the order. First, God sets Paul apart when he get ready. See, y'all stop telling people that God did something too late, too early, they gone too soon. Now, can that be done? Of course. But watch what I say. I said, some of y'all messing up, but you right where you supposed to be because he gonna take your mistake and he gonna wave them into that revelation. So when you preach this gospel, your passion comes out of what you miss. Now watch this. You know why it seems like I have no joy in my life? Because my joy comes from the gospel. It don't come from the word. Do you know why? I'm, 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 uh, you got to listen to what I'm saying because ain't nobody gonna tell you how I tell you because we got a relationship. Do you know why he never allowed me to have a childhood? And his words were, if I allow you to remember your childhood, what you went through, it'll break you. This that man of death. So I think before 10 or 12, I have no memory. See, y'all remember y'all little play toy, this and that. I don't have those memories. Now watch this. So the same passion I want to understand the path, being a child, that's the same passion I teach to people as children in God because I want you to know him. So what he did, he took my childhood. So he knows it's going to bother me. So when I think about that, and I think about people, because he does say, come to me as little children. So that passion I got, what I miss, is inflicted in joy on what I teach. Because notice, I can tell you what happened from the beginning. I can't remember my beginning. Dude, so 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 what's in your life that you despise, that you hate, that you had to endure is what he used to mold grace in you. And if you begin to understand it, see, the reason he had to tell me after years of asking, ain't no love in you because you conceived with no love. So the same passion that oftentimes when I was in the world trying to look for love, that's the same passion I can look at somebody and say, you don't love God. See, he transformed my story. And see, I know y'all get mad. You can't tell me. You don't know that. I just be laughing because I be laughing, but I be for real. If I tell you you don't love God, I know you don't. Because he took my view of not being loved, and when I challenge it toward women, that means I can see that you ain't got no intimacy in God. Why do you think that most of the people that come to me, the first thing I do is make sure you hear the voice of God? Because if you don't hear the voice of God for yourself, I can tell you anything and you will do it because that's what y'all do in the church. My pastor said this, my pastor said that, you listen here. You don't even know how to study the word. I know you don't receive it. So when he said called by grace, let me call him by the pain I allowed them to experience. See, watch this. So I didn't earn. I didn't earn who I am in God. I didn't cross all the I's, all the T's. I just believe. See, your identity often comes before your assignment. You hear what I said? Your identity becomes before your assignment. See, if you hate your childhood, you hate God. If you hate your living situation, you hate God. That's why I know you don't love him. Because you having grasped in your mind, you haven't grasped in your mind that what you're going through is to nurture you in him before he release you. See, grace, it anchors your identity before your performance. Let me explain that. I know people didn't like how I talk. I I grew up whoring. So my conversation, it wasn't to people who got degrees, who stayed in the fancy neighborhood. It was the ones in the hood. It was the ones that got out of hood but still understand the hood. See, I didn't say fellatio. I said giving head. Guap guap 2000. What y'all call Miss Vacuum Cleaner. Double head twist. It's funny to them, but it make them understand the gospel. To y'all who perfect, that ain't God. That ain't God. See, be careful how God orchestrates you to build your ministry. And you got the Pharisees over there, that ain't God. That's why a lot of your ministry ain't growing. You trying to please people. The next time Pastor Shay changed something about herself, I'm going to say so. Because I noticed every time somebody say something about her, she changes her image to appease people. If God ain't told you to change, why should you change? So when that was a couple of months ago, I said, God says he changing my language because he gonna introduce me to new people. I knew what I was saying, how I was saying. Look at how many people say they ain't God, but watch what I said. God said he gonna change my life. I didn't change because people didn't like what I was saying. I knew what I was doing. I understand what I was doing. And y'all around him trying to build ministry around the same people who gonna kill you. See, y'all got a performance-based ministry. You got a performance-based ministry. And the only way you perform if you get the people attention. I've been coming on here every day for I don't know how many. Do you know I cut the views off on my YouTube channel because people won't go in there and see how many look. They don't want to listen to what's taught. I don't even go and see how many views I got on because I don't care. I'm not doing this for performance. And so what's wrong with a lot of you, like I said a few days ago, you trying to prove who you are. That was wrong with that prophetess gave with. Here, I'm a prophetess of God. I'm a prophet. You ain't never went in the Bible and the prophets kept telling people they prophets. They just did the work. And see, the reason your ministry ain't growing, you trying to prove to people that God called you. You trying to prove to people that you know what you talking about. Man, miss me with that mess. Brother Hubbard on me can. And when I say I don't care, it means I put no stock in what people say to me. Number 4, I think. I'm gonna tell what's wrong with many of you. You obey out of fear and not freedom. When you obey out of fear and not freedom, you haven't experienced the grace needed to even develop a relationship with God. Because when we went over there, Genesis 3 and 8, we understand fear is what got Adam and Eve out of position. We understand that they never lost position. We understand that God never stopped talking to them. They moved out of fear because they didn't have freedom to see they can just go to God. See, now, so not only that you obey out of fear, you obey out of fear. You listen out of fear. Not only do you listen out of fear, you growing in fear. Obey, listen, grow. All in fear. That's why you're not obeying. That's not why you're not listening. That's why you ain't growing. But what you is doing, you got your hand out. God I need, God I want, God I desire. See, when you understand the power in grace, you already know, you already chosen, and you already love. Do you know most of you only obey when you feel the pressure of God? See, obedience, if you really got a relationship with God, obedience becomes a response, not pressure. And for many of you, you can't obey because you constantly thinking about what you lack. Everybody plays the fool. There's no exceptions to the rule. So when you obey God, is a response out of reverence for God, or is it by pressure because you don't want to miss God? So when we take Paul's uh 1:15, Galatians, when we take that and we understand grace for what it is, if grace was at work in Paul's life before he knew it, then you got to understand your life ain't no accident. You didn't meet me by accident. You didn't go through no childhood, uh, whatever y'all went through by accident. Your life ain't behind. You right on time. God ain't surprised by nothing we do. We just surprised us because we do it. Grace was already moving in your life before you even knew the language, what grace is. Now, what it is, number 4, 5, who knows? I need me a secretary. Stop punishing yourself and others for your pain. Stop comparing your timelines to others. Stop trying to earn what God has freely given. See, the reason I can tell some of you ain't got grace, you still trying to prove. Grace says rest. You show me a prophet or anybody with a racing mind, I show you a prophet or anybody that don't have grace. What Brother Hubbard used to be up so long, mind just a twisting, just a twisting, just a twisting, just a twisting. I had to accept myself. And it's a shame to be in a gospel where God accepts you for who you are, but you can't accept yourself for who you are. I make no apologies for nothing I did in life, right down to the adultery. I don't make no apology. See, he already knew it was going to happen. And when I caught her, I never really said nothing. Only time I said something is because she thought she was smug and didn't think I'd be knowing stuff. And she didn't know how to cheat. She was just dumb. If you're going to cheat, make some sense. See, you don't pull up to your house and be on the phone cheating. And guess what she said at the time I said, you do the same thing. I don't talk to no woman around or near the house. I'm out into that cutting grass if I'm going to talk to my side piece. When I go in the house, it's about in the house. Now, if they send a text, the children going Can you come over? You know, I might sneak on out of the house. See, watch this. You can't punish nobody for what they did to you unless you understand what's in you. Think of how many things you done that don't nobody know about, but God know about. See, you need some rest. And the only way you really get rest if you understand grace. Man, I don't sit around worried about am I gonna make rent or do I have rent money or this or that? See, they think I'm stupid because of what I say to my son. I told him, boy, if you die, I'm gonna bury you. If you come to Christ, I'm gonna love you. But even if you die and don't come to Christ, I still love you. And whatever I have left, I said I might buy me a new truck in your honor. But then I said I can't do that because I ain't finna reward dead people. Man, I don't know how long my dad had been gone. I only mentioned him when I mentioned him. I don't go to no, well, we had a relationship anyway. I don't go in there and put one out and put no darn, I ain't finna waste no flowers on no darn grave for somebody that's dead and don't know it there. Y'all still got a lot of dead things, right? Why you want to honor something that ain't here no more? See, grace, if we look at Paul's story and we dissect it as we have, because I'm a good teacher. Y'all notice the confidence I say in that? See, sometimes Paul would boast. Ain't that shame? Ain't no shame if you know what you're good at in God. So Paul's story reminds us grace does not wait at the finish line. Grace is that pistol that sounds and let you know you getting in this race. Y'all used to watch wrestling. I used to watch wrestling more. See, grace is God already winning the match, and He see you outside the ring. He tag you in. Now you come in. Grace is we playing baseball, and it's 9-9, and you sitting down there because you ain't played all night. Come on in. Now everybody looking at you. Well, dog, you know he can't hit. You know she can't hit. And they mess around. Everybody know you can't hit. So he come down with that fastball down the middle. Oh, you know what's wrong with y'all? God trying to count you in, you keep counting yourself out. God trying to show you how to win the game, you want to feel sorry. We ain't got time for losers on our team. You still a winner. See, I'm gonna get to it, but I understand something. You can't be so right that God loves you anymore than you do a hell of a lot of wrong and he love you any less. See, this false doctrine think y'all got y'all thinking if you miss church one Sunday, you going to hell. Ask people that go to church that watch it. Ask yourself, why do you go to church? Because let's be realistic. Because see, I can't even get me. I'm going to this church down there, and within myself, I'm still whoring, I'm still lying, I'm still stealing. I don't hear nothing about preaching conviction. I'm knowing with themselves. I say I ain't even growing. But I like the fellowship. I like the food when Sister Johnson used to cook it. I'm cutting the grass. Everybody, they go, bro, Hub, they go, bro, Hub. But the minute God transformed me, I was the worst thing in that church. Don't get to a place where God got to make what you love hate you for you to leave. Man, I was sitting around there. I know he told me I had to leave. And I came to, I said, man, I ain't going nowhere. Next thing you know, everybody was talking about Brother Hubbard. Everybody. The pastor sent out an email. Don't nobody say nothing to Brother Hubbard. This the pastor. The whole church turned on me before you know it. If it wasn't for my friend Derek, he said, man, he said, I know it's wrong, but I'm going to tell you anyway. But he said, don't say it. Pastor Thelfer told people don't talk to you. How you leading the flock and ostracizing the very one near my friend Cynthia? She called me. She said, Deidre, I went to pastor and told me, y'all need to see what's wrong with him. So everybody knew it was a change. So why you in the church and you know you ain't growing? Blind obligations. You can't see God past that building. Boy, I found the old clip came on my TikTok. Juanita Bynum. That's when she was, that when she wasn't trying to be worried like she. You know what Juanita said? Juanita said, "I dare you to find in the Bible the 5 times Jesus went to church." She said, "Find it." Boy, they went to standing up. She said, "I want y'all to find it." She said, "Because we don't supposed to be in this building, we supposed to be out there." So, see, watch this. If you really had Christ in your heart, see, you wouldn't have time to show your new dress and your heels and your little purses and your sons and daughter y'all matching. You ain't putting in no work. Cause he out there. Who is hot around here? Who is cold around here? Y'all going in them plush seats. You hear your 30, 45 minutes of word, your 30, 45 minutes of worship. You look at what you like. Hey, I'd be over. But boy, man, we used to be in that building for the horse. So we know who we knocking off in there. Because everybody was sleeping down there with everybody. I don't think I never got one in it. Now I ain't never had one in church. See, I'm from the old school. The, 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 the old man used to say, he said, you don't SHIT where you work at. Now, there's a couple of them in I want to knock off, but I knew who was screwing who. Because time church old. They done dropped the babies off at grandma's house. He gonna come on, and I'm just riding around. Man, my friend Mitchell, he had me laughing so much because I used to be in the parking lot. And Sister Cook rolled down there with her car. And he said, don't say nothing. And he was looking around trying to see ain't nobody saying, and I'm right there. And she pulled up. I don't know how that woman did it. And she opened the back door. He jumped in there and she slammed that door closed and she took off. I said, Barlow, I said, I ain't no Mitchell was knocking off Sister Cook. He said, yeah, they been messing around. Because he said, Hub, don't say nothing. Man, I ain't finna say nothing. Get yours, buddy. That's a whole house. See, the gospel, if it was some conviction, everybody wouldn't be screwing everybody. So even saying all that, grace makes you aware of what you're doing wrong. Y'all like to make excuses for why you're wrong. See, grace walked me through my mess. See, grace gets you ready before you're ready. But when God, but when God, so I had to understand that my life had to be waking up to principles, to purpose, to what's wrong, what's right, to not make excuses, to not self-justify. And then I understood something. I said, boy, can't nobody touch me. Can't nobody touch me. I mean that. Never listen to a person and you feel inadequate to that person. You'll never understand grace. See, don't look at nobody and say, ooh, I want that big house because they got a big house. Ooh, she fine, I gotta have me a fine. See, I know any woman that I had, God ain't never gave Brother Hubbard no ugly woman. They was always right. But maybe that's the problem. You can't get it how you like all the time. Sometimes you got to give what he may think you need. And the reason we can't see God in our lives, because you got an idea. You got an idea of what you want. But how you know what you want? And here, Brother Hubbard, I'm sitting here teaching you, what we on number 9, I'm teaching you what grace really is. That's how I can prove everything that you accomplish. It didn't come from God, it came from you. That's how I prove it. It didn't come from God. It's something you want. But see, sometimes God will give or allow you to have for you what you want to let you know you wasn't ready, you ain't ready, you got to get ready. Sometimes he'll let you have what you want because he want to develop you inside your mess. But if it don't go right, y'all ready to give it up. That's how I know God ain't gave it to you. Cause you ready to give it up so easy. And even with some of you going through now, you self-justifying why you really just don't do what you already know in your heart to do. But hey, man, it ain't Friday, is it? It's Friday night. Ooh, girl, again. Call your girls. We gonna have whatever King George say. See, it's Saturday night. He didn't make no Saturday night song. And call your girls and bring a friend. Don't mind me. I'm thinking about something. I'm thinking about how you trying to block grace from entering your life because you want your life right before you really accept Christ. But that's your fault.